Hi, I'm Lisa Thomas. I'm a licensed insolvency practitioner, and I'm just going to briefly discuss the options available to directors of UK limited companies that they need to have a look at in order to see whether they can survive this lockdown and come through the other side in order to avoid having to close the business down, either with or without an insolvency procedure. One of the key things you'll need to do, if you haven't already, that is produce cash flow forecasts. You'll need them for a minimum of 6 months. Your accountants will usually be able to give you a bit of help with this. You'll need to have a little look at what payments are vital and essential to see you through the next few months and what can perhaps be deferred for a small period. You'll need to speak to your creditors as best as you can in order to see if you can defer some payments. Bear in mind that the whole country has come to a standstill, so all of your creditors are probably going to be in similar circumstances to you. And the other thing to note actually is that because of the situation we're in, many of the courts are closed and bailiffs have also been paused. So actually creditors are highly unlikely to take any recovery action against your company in the short term. And even if they wanted to, many are actually going to be unable to. Having said that, try to speak to your creditors where possible. See if you can make arrangements to temporarily freeze the debt and interest, or perhaps reach an agreement whereby the company repays the debt in manageable instalments. Chase up your debtors as and when they become due, bearing in mind that a lot of them will be in similar circumstances to you and might be unable to pay. And also many of them are actually not going to survive this lockdown. So even if you do come out the other side, you are going to need to reevaluate your customers, some of which might not come back, but others won't be able to pay. They will have gone bust and you won't be able to recover those monies. If you haven't already done so, obviously one big expense with a company is its employees. Have a look at your employees and consider where you can make some cutbacks. For example, perhaps asking staff to go part-time if they're not already, reducing hours, reducing pay, reducing benefits, perhaps looking at some paid leave, some holiday they've got left, or looking at unpaid leave or sabbatical. If that's not possible, you may have to look to consider formal redundancies of the staff. Always speak to an employment lawyer about all of these issues. The government has set up a scheme known as a job retention scheme, also known as furlough. In order to furlough your employees, you'll need to tell them formally that they've been furloughed and also notify HMRC through their online portal. What this means is businesses will be able to recover 80% of the employee's monthly wage. This is capped at £2,500. So you will be able to claw those monies back from the government. Timescales are obviously unknown at the moment. If the company owes arrears to HM Revenue and Customs, also known as HMRC, then it might be possible to agree what's called a time to pay plan, a TTP, with them. And what this means is they'll review it on a case-by-case basis, but if agreed, they would ordinarily allow a company 12 months in order to repay its debts. Again, this is the sort of thing your accountant will be able to help you negotiate with HMRC. In addition, the government has set up additional measures to help out businesses through this crisis. For example, the deferral of VAT. This will be for the months of March to June 2020 and won't need to be paid for another year. It's automatic, you don't need to apply for it, but obviously you want to take steps to cancel any direct debit arrangements you've got in place to pay that over the next couple of months. They've also set up holidays and grants for business rates for businesses that are in the retail, hospitality and leisure industry. You can also reclaim statutory sick pay of up to 2 weeks from the government for any employees that have been sick directly in relation to COVID-19. And finally, you can apply for a business interruption loan as long as you fit certain criteria of up to £5 million. Repayment terms can be up to 3 years for overdrafts and invoice finance facilities and up to 6 years for asset finance facilities and loans. The initial first year of fees and interest is backed by the government, but all of the remainder will have to be paid by the borrower, so do remember that this is a loan. These loans can be obtained from the British Business Bank through their accredited lenders. At the moment, there are circa 40 lenders that are offering these facilities. If your company was already struggling prior to this crisis, or you can see there's no way of it coming out the other side, then please do take advice from a licensed insolvency practitioner. Speak to your accountant about some of the things that I've discussed and the options that might be open to you. See if you can ride it out. I've put a link at the bottom of this video to all the different things that I've spoken about today. Stay safe.